everybody. It is Stephanie, Sean, Shannon, and Stephen from the 4S Club. And this is the final video of our collab that we started way back in about September, October. I forget how long ago it was. Now, just to remind you what this was all about, each of us put up on our channel 3 patterns that we were thinking of doing or wanted to do, but we let you, the subscribers, tell us which one you wanted us to do. And you did that, and we have done them. And now this is the final reveal. We're each going to show you what we ended up creating from that pattern. We're going to show you the pattern first. We're going to talk about our trials and tribulations and success level and everything with the pattern. I know I got a lot to say about that. And wouldn't, of course I would, because is anything easy for me? No, that's why I'm an idiot. But that's what we're going to talk about. And you're going to get to see some pictures. You're going to get to see them live as well on here. And yeah, we're just going to go for it. So our first our first presenter is going to be Stephanie. And I'm going to put up here on the screen share Stephanie's pattern. And then we'll see her beautiful creation as well.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so Stephanie, tell us about it.
So I had the Puffin Star from Art East Quilting. That's the one you guys picked for me. I had 2 Art East patterns and one Elizabeth Hartman, and this is the one you guys chose. So I finished this one fairly quickly. Only took me a couple days. This wasn't a hard pattern. It says Advanced Beginner. And the only reason I think for it to be called Advanced Beginners, because there are some little tiny pieces, but the cutting is the tricky part. It's a lot of cutting. So a cut for a really long time, and then you have to be really, really organized and really label everything really well. If you do those things, then you'll be successful. But other than that, it was a pretty fun, straightforward pattern.
So let's take a look at the final version. And here it is, looking gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you. It
So
was a lot of fun. I
pretty.
used all grunge fabrics. I love grunge. It's a little bit more than a solid, but it reads like a solid. Just gives a little bit of movement, and especially with animals, I really like the movement on the animals with the grunge. So
And I
I
think we
love the
have a
quilting.
thank you.
I think we have a close-up of that. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah.
my puffins.
And I'm assuming you put this on your long arm.
I did. And as soon as I got it off and bound, my youngest son, who's been drooling over these puffins for months, took it.
Well, it's gorgeous. It makes me want to do one now.
It
But
was a lot of fun. It went together quicker than you would think. So
but you have a second one because although this was the one that everybody picked, Stephanie had to go with the second choice too. So here it is.
Yeah. Well, this one is the one that I was really hoping you guys would pick because I wanted to do it. Not that I mean, I was going to do all 3 eventually anyway. Haven't got to the 3rd one yet, but this was the second one, also from Art East Quilting, called Going Coastal. It just screams Stephanie because I love the water. I love anything beachy. I live right off the shore of Lake Erie, so this one was totally me, and this one was a lot of fun to do. Again, I would say this one, it doesn't say on the pattern, but I would say this is probably more advanced beginner, maybe even teetering over to intermediate because there were so many pieces. The lobster alone had I don't even remember how many pieces, but he took me quite a while to piece the lobster. There's a lot of little pieces, but it came together really nicely, and I love it. My daughter picked out the mermaid colors because she's got dark hair, so she said the mermaid can't be blonde. So, and
I was
again,
going to ask you about that because I remember you telling me at the retreat that
yeah,
it called for blonde, but you were not doing it blonde.
no, my daughter picked it out, and again, it's all done in grunge, so it gets a little bit of that movement to it. I just really like grunge, so yeah.
What I love is how you're quilting in the hair, especially really suits the hair, the swirls. Was that on purpose?
Well, I wanted something that when I picked the quilting that obviously looked like ocean waves because it's all ocean themed, and when it started going across her hair, I was like, oh, this is perfect. She looks like she's got wind blowing through her hair. And then if you look at the whale, he looks like he's got water washing over him. It just came out really well. I'm really excited about it. And I used a really light teal thread. I didn't want white because I didn't want to overtake everything. So it sort of blends in with the background, which I really like. So
It
yeah.
really gives texture to the quilt too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so that was Stephanie. Now we're going to go to Sean, but before I go to Sean, just let everybody see Sean. There he is.
Okay.
Now you'll have to excuse Sean. Sean hasn't been well. And so he's got a raspy bedroom voice happening right here now. So all you girls out there, just stop it. Just stop it. And so let's get Sean's pattern up first of all, and then we'll come back to Sean because I don't have a picture of Sean's, but he'll show it to you live. Here's my screen share. Let's go. And here we are. Okay, so there's Sean's pattern. So what do you have to say about this pattern? It looks different.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So this is the Fab Farm by Elizabeth Hartman. This is my second Elizabeth Hartman pattern. And this is actually the large version of the quilt. The one I did was a small, which is like it's like basically a quarter of this quilt here. So the one you'll see in a second is a little bit smaller. This, I would say, would be like maybe advanced beginner, but probably more so to intermediate. It looks complicated. There's a lot of small pieces, kind of like what Stephanie was saying about hers. But my tip for this is if you want to tackle this project, is tackle it one block at a time, one animal at a time, because the pattern is written where you can cut out the pieces for one animal at a time. And if you tackle it like that, it doesn't seem so overwhelming because you're only looking at one page of instructions for cutting, one or two pages for assembly, and then it's all done. My goal was to do one animal per week. And I pretty much stuck to that. It was a lot of fun because it was, instead of being one big project, I had like 9 or 10 little projects.
So I'll take you off screen share. And now I'm going to put you in the spotlight so we can get a really good look at your beautiful quilt.
Okay. All right. So here we go. I used a green background. And hopefully you can see it all right because
Look at that little pig.
Yeah, the pig is adorable. I love the sheep.
oh yeah, the pig would have to be my favorite. Where is he? Come here.
Yeah, he's right
Where is
there.
he here?
Right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pig's cute.
Yeah, so the pig is grunge based. And the other thing I wanted to do with this too, and I succeeded successfully, is this is all from stash. I did not go to the store for the first thing on this here. And so, I mean, I just picked out what I had in
Nice.
stash.
So-
And this was the fun part about this project. And then the quilting for this, I just did a simple crosshatch.
Yeah.
Because this is going to go to be a baby quilt because it measures out 38 by 38. One of my colleagues in a different department where I work is expecting a second child in about 3 weeks. And so I plan on gifting it to her. And so that way she can use it for her new incoming baby. And I didn't want to quilt it to death because that way she can just use it, for her baby when I think it's a he arrives. So
It's
there
going
we
to
go.
Great
That
gift.
that is my quilt. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. That looks great. I don't think I'd attempt it. Too many little pieces.
It's really not that bad. As I say, if you break it down into those single units, each one, I mean, there's probably not many more pieces in one of these than it is in one of your cats, for instance.
Oh, well, true. Yeah, that could be as well, too. Well, that drove me nuts, too, but we'll come to that. But now
Yeah.
we're going to go to Shannon, and I'm going to put up on the screen Shannon's beautiful creation, and I just love Art Deco. So
Me too.
tell us about this pattern first.
Yes. So this is from Exhausted Octopus, and I've followed her for a while. And she doesn't do a lot of FPP. She does a lot of art quilts, but this was what really stood out to me when she had released this, I think 2 years ago now. And so it had been in my, wow, I really want to do this. And I was super, super glad this is the one everybody picked because I really wanted to focus on this one. And yeah, I love this, but the picture is great and is what drew me in. But I am so pleased with the Christmas quilt. And if I need to pull it, I can take it down off the wall if I need to. But I was just so proud. I wanted. What's that?
It's looking very good, just as it is right now.
Yeah.
I wanted to hang it up. I was so proud, and I love it so much. It is so beautiful. I'm really glad that I went that just on happenstance started with the red and green, because I thought I was going to do all different colors, and the red and green just looked so pretty on one of my lives that I just went with the Christmassy, and it ends up working really well with table runner that I made at Stephanie's retreat last year too. So it's like a complete set now for my dining room. Put
And
this on the wall and the table runner down.
And it looks like stained glass.
It does.
So it's
It
the
looks
same
like you have
thing.
a stained glass window back there. Yeah.
I will say because it's all very straight lines and there's no it's all one block. So this is the same block repeated over and over and over again, and then the same like setting triangles over and over. The piecing of it was very, very easy. If you've never paper pieced before, this would be an okay one to start with. I don't think it was difficult at all. The hard part was where all of these pieces meet. That was super thick. It was very, very thick, and it gave me fits when it came to quilting it. I just echoed across all the straight black lines on either side, and it gave me fits when I got to those corners. I thought I hammered them down pretty well. I should have beat it to pieces to make it even flatter, because that was what stressed me out by the time it was putting it together. Everything else was so easy, and just I love it. But that was the part that I think would be a struggle for everybody. That's the only reason why I would say an advanced beginner, just because you probably have seen some things by the time you're an advanced beginner, and you won't be as shocked when you get to those thicker spots.
Yeah. Well, it turned out beautiful, so I guess it was worth the effort.
It was for sure.
Okay, well, that's great. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to do screen share here for mine as soon as I find the screen share. Here we go. Okay, so this was the pattern I was hoping everybody would choose, because this one I really wanted to do, the Scrappy Cats. And I figured this one, it's all of you're making it with scrap fabrics, so it doesn't really matter what colors you use. It's going to be really straightforward because you're really only making one block and not a problem. Yeah, there was a problem. Okay, I sewed tails on upside down because there's a lot of geometrical shapes here. There are a lot of pieces, and although they're not difficult pieces, there are quite a few of them, and it's very easy to get them all mixed up. So here's the final product. And you will notice that some of the cats look a little different than other ones. I mean, they're the basic shape, but depending on the colors that I used, like, this one up here sort of doesn't have a face, the same as this one has a cross across the face kind of a thing. So it's truly scrappy. But I did quilt the heck out of it. And here's a close-up. I found this pattern that is little cat paws, which I thought was suitable. And I had this fabric in my stash, my backing fabric. And I thought, if you look at it very carefully, it's got kind of the shape of the cats in there too. So that's why I used it. Plus it was really colorful. So I would put this one at probably a confident beginner and someone with a great deal of patience. And like Sean said about doing his different pieces, I would do one cat at a time. Although they're all the same pieces in the whole bit, it is so easy if you're geometrically challenged like I am to get things flipped upside down. I really had to have Walter look at it and see, and of course within 30 seconds he went, okay, why is that tail going that way? Okay, rip, rip, rip. I did a lot of ripping on this, so I thought it was going to be easy. Now I did get around to doing this one. This was the second choice, the one called Bundles of Joy. And I've had this pattern for a while, and I had a bundle of Christmas fabrics that I bought in Halifax when Stephanie and I were at the Canadian Quilt Show. And I thought when I saw this pattern, that would be perfect because it's supposed to be little bundles of fabric all wrapped up. So here is that. Now this picture of it doesn't show you. I guess I got the wrong picture up here. It has been quilted. It is done. I put the wrong one up. But if you take a look at it, I had a little bit of fun. I'm going to see if I can blow this up a little bit. I decided, oops, okay, to get out of the comfort zone here with that pattern and do something else because I thought these little bundles looked like cats. So on a few of them, I actually used my machine to put on little cat eyes and little cat whiskers and a little cat nose. But beside it, if you notice, there's a few bundles that have claw marks. It's not easy to see in this picture, but I have claw marks in it. Because what do cats do with presents under a Christmas tree? They will destroy them. So this was called Bundles of Joy. It isn't anymore. I call it Bundles Destroyed.
I like that.
Only
It's
cat
so
lovers,
cute.
only cat lovers will get this. So yeah, that's what I did with it. Let me take this off. Okay, so that is all of our quilts. We had a lot of fun, I think, doing this. We
We did, yeah.
might do something like this down the road again, as well. Yeah. There was a third pattern that we all had as well. I don't know if anybody is planning to do the third pattern. Mine was an Elizabeth Hartman, the one with foxes on it, which I've never done Elizabeth Hartman. And, you know, because your Sean was Elizabeth Hartman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know, you're scaring me now about that.
Really, I'm with Stephanie. The cutting is the hardest part. Once you get it cut out, if you're organized, putting it together is, to me, yeah, the cutting was more difficult, or more time consuming. So don't let that, just take your time with the cutting. Like if you're trying to rush and get it cut out in 20 minutes, you get drive yourself nuts. But just enjoy the process, cut it out, be organized, and then just take it step by step. Her patterns are incredibly well written. There's lots of pictures, lots of words. Don't let it intimidate you.
Well, that's my one on my list. I don't know when I'll get to it, but it's on my list. How about you, Stephanie? You had
Well, actually, I was going to ask that question to everybody too. I wondered if you all were going to do your other patterns that you have left over. I know Stephen and I each have one, and Sean and Shannon, you both have two. I am planning on doing the last one. It's called Rainbow Rainforest by Elizabeth Hartman, and it has a sloth in it. And my daughter loves sloths, so I have to make it.
And Shannon, what about you?
Yes, actually, Lauren told me the one that she would have picked was the fan one. Nobody's gonna remember it by now, but so I'm gonna end up having to do that one in purples. And then the other one that reminded me of irises, I think I'm gonna do for my mom because the iris is her favorite color. So I'll end up doing them.
And what about you, Sean?
Absolutely. I mean, I wanted to do all three patterns. I just figured it was fun, you know, as part of this collab to let the viewers decide which one I was going to do first. I'll probably tackle the produce section next, which is another Elizabeth Hartman pattern, and I hope to start that maybe the next month or two. And the other one was the blowing up bunnies, which was the Art East one with the bubble gum, and I want to try and get that done this year. My goal is to get both of those pieced by the end of the year, but we'll see what happens. If it drags into 2025, so be it.
So everybody stay tuned for our future projects, of course. You'll all be the first to know when we decide. Or certain on that. So any final parting words before we go? I just want to say that this was a lot of fun. This video will be, well, you will see it. It's being posted on Monday on all of our channels. So, you know, you can pick your favorite. We won't be that upset.
When you go to Stephanie's channel.
I'll only cry a little bit. Just a touch. Yeah, a little bit. No, but anyways, that's where they'll be. And in fact, as I say that now, you're already watching this. So the point's moot. But any final words from anybody? Anybody want to say anything?
No, I just want to say I had a great time, and I can't remember whose idea this was originally. I think it might have been Sean's. So
Sean's, yeah.
Thank you for inviting all of us to do this together. I love actually that we had like a goal because it pushed me to get things done. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, me too. And I appreciate you all hanging out, you know, like, and being agreed to this. And I love the interactive part. I love that we were able to let the viewers decide, because sometimes we get these patterns, like there's so many patterns we want to do and
Yeah.
so limited time, and why not let the viewers decide which one? Because they're the reason why we're producing this content, is to let them enjoy it. So
Yeah.
let them choose. So, and hopefully we'll get to do something like this again in the future.
That was the funnest part for me, letting other folks decide and like letting them be a part of this collaboration was so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, I learned a good lesson from this. When you let other people decide, make sure you manipulate them better. I mean, oh no, it's a thrill, really. Actually, read the damn pattern a little bit more thoroughly before I start it.
Before you choose it.
Yeah, before I choose it. Yeah, true. Okay, well, this is great, everybody. Thanks for coming on here, showing your final versions of everything. And yeah, and stay tuned, everybody, to all of our channels, because it's a new year and we all have plans for all kinds of things. So, get rid of your cable subscription. You have us.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
bye, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Happy sewing.